Okay. And boom.
Okay. Not the usual button. Firearms Friday, upper right corner. Good morning.
Cover what later?
The button thing.
Oh.
There's a button thing I need to cover with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So more buttons.
More buttons.
So let's we've been kind of slack.
There's a shitload of buttons on this desk, and they're not always the same. They change depending on what you're doing.
Is that amaretto flavored coffee?
No, that is toasted coconut Kona.
Does amaretto have nuts in it? Is that why I'm
Yes.
getting that? Oh, well,
Yes.
that would explain.
Amaretto's almondy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
I'm just going to admit to my alcoholism here. I've never known what amaretto was, other than a thing that you mix with sour mix and drink with girls.
Like Fireball. Non-alcoholics call it cinnamon.
Something like that. Oh, we've been super slack.
Scrimshaw says the audio seems low, and
Maybe a touch.
maybe a touch. Let me see. That's probably
Mechanically speaking.
okay. That should be better.
I know that when I do the reposts, it's pretty common where like I have to play with the audio a bit.
Yeah, I turned down the intros and stuff again. So okay,
Let's before we do it, we've been slack about saying good morning to people.
we have okay. Yeah, let's do the mornings. Guten Morgen, wie geht's? Sehr gut, auf, danke.
That always makes me so nervous when you do that. And I took German in high school, and it still makes me nervous every time you do that. I watched this one lady explain how hard it is to speak Korean on YouTube in America, because there are Korean words that sound like things that they are not at all.
Yes, yes, there are.
I'm just talking about you, but not that kind of you. So good morning to Pit Danny.
No. Because the Korean word for you.
Good morning to Pit Danny. And
It's the N-word.
yes, I know, that was the joke. So Pancho Ramirez. Jen has joined us. Apparently David has transitioned again.
He's no fun anymore.
Apparently, he's still lots of fun. He's just going by his actual name now instead of habeas corpses or some other such dark pun. So, but glad you're back in the live show. And then we got Scrimshaw Rose.
Good morning.
The lovely Megan is with us.
You already caught Poncho?
Yep. And
Poncho. Danny! Good morning,
Danny
sunshine.
Is with us. Good morning.
And Brett Brown's with us this morning. Good morning, everybody. Okay. So, good morning. Okay.
It's Firearms Friday, but...
Correct. It's Firearms Friday, but... And it's a good morning because it's Friday. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, did we see Dan? Yeah, Pit Danny's in there. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, just a little preview of things to come. I am having a meeting with some reps from Redo Voting for lunch today. I can't make any promises yet, but that's probably going to be very interesting, and especially the plan in theory is to do a show with Alex McDonald at least, and some reps from Redo Voting. But if I have my way, that show is going to be a big production. And probably it will probably not be done live, but we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, so good things coming up. Now let's get to the news. We're gonna do a little bit of news this morning before we do the DGUs.
I mean, it is literally the biggest story in the world.
It is pretty much the biggest story in the world,
and rightly so.
Yeah. So, wait, Alex, you're fucking up my thread here. You back up a little bit. So, it is Friday, the 9th of September. And in 2 days, we will memorialize one of the greatest tragedies in American history. And henceforward, that memorial will be overshadowed in some parts of the world by the passing of Queen Elizabeth. And I would actually be very interested to hear what Alex has to say on the subject, which I imagine he talked about on the show last night, but I don't know because I didn't make it to TPS report yet.
He did talk about it on the show last night. He didn't talk about that specifically, but yeah, he mentioned the Queen once or twice.
Wow, that's ominously phrased. I'll have to go check that out. Anyway, so the Queen is dead, long live the King. Now, let's be fair. She had a good run.
She had one of the best runs ever.
Yeah, she
like,
had
just
one
by
of
the numbers. Like
she had one of the best runs of any human being that has ever lived.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. So, okay,
and I'm not making a political commentary here. I mean, we're talking about somebody who lived almost an entire century in the lap of absolute wealth and power, and has been at a level of power to be not just witness to, but actively and personally involved in the shaping of the last century of world history. The significance of the English Queen just cannot well be overstated. It's, no matter what a political position you might have, yeah, that's a hell of a run.
So for perspective, Chris and I were discussing this before the show. My father was born, lived his entire life, and died.
Having retired from a full career.
Yeah. All during her reign. Not during her life. Her reign. My dad was born in 1957. She was coronated in 1952. Okay?
At 27. Imagine you basically just got out of college and...
well,
here's a planet. Don't drop it.
So there's that, okay? Just the sheer, it's impressive just on its face, no matter how you feel about the politics of it. And we're gonna roll part of the political discussion into Meme More Monday, because there are memes, but today is not the day. I thought a lot about this. How do I phrase this exactly? Because there are a lot of people who are not even British subjects. You can go ahead and roll it over, show the pictures. That's a good idea.
And I'm just going to let the pictures kind of scroll.
So there's a lot of people that are very sad about this, even people who are not British subjects. And here's why. Okay, let me give voice to that for you. Queen Elizabeth is, you stop the scrolling. Queen Elizabeth is, or was, a rare bird. To say they don't make them like her anymore is an understatement. They barely made them like they made her when she was made. It is so rare that a monarch passes on a crown that is stronger to their progeny. Typically, monarchs are spoiled, narcissistic, petulant. They lack empathy because, I mean, they've simply been handed everything and quite literally told because of the way they were born, they are special. And Queen Elizabeth seems to have understood that there is a lot of overlap in the Venn diagram from rights, responsibilities, and privileges, that they all occupy a very similar space, if you want to be very honest. I mean, we're talking about a woman who was a combat nurse in World War II, just for starters, okay? And a woman who apparently was a very personable type of person, very warm and cheery in private, but she maintained the stoicism in public because she understood that she had responsibilities. There's this whole thing about how one of the advantages to the British system of having all the pomp and pageantry be bestowed on the monarchy, you've got a sense of continuity that's easy to understand, even if you don't necessarily think that the concept of a king or queen is a positive thing. There are positive things about it. And I say all that to say the power could go to anybody's head. You could act like such a jerk. But history is replete with tyrants. You go all the way back to the Caesars and just some of the awful stuff that they would do. And what happened while Queen Elizabeth was queen? Well, there's a lot of people, and like I said, we'll get to it on Me More Monday. There are a lot of people that are going to want to say some very, very nasty things about her, about Britain, about this, about that. But peacefully, the Queen backed England, Britain, out of a lot of things. Was in fact a peaceful ruler that understood. I mean, we're talking about somebody who was a combat nurse. She quite literally had seen the horrors of war. So it's not like she was afraid of a thing she didn't understand.
Right.
She had enough sense to be forward thinking and do the right thing and actually take her privilege and power and try and do something positive with it. So if you're not a British subject and even you yourself are sad, simply put, there was a level of being humble and authenticity to Queen Elizabeth that the vast majority of us couldn't even begin to wrap our heads around. You give me that much power, I'm dead at 50 with basically every STD on the planet. That's just the truth. But not her. Not her. Not at all. And it is a thing that is worth acknowledging and being impressed by. If you want an example of a life well lived, even if you yourself are not royalty, I think Queen Elizabeth that's a pretty good measuring stick. Yep. So yeah. I tried to talk all the way to the end of the thing.
Yeah,
I really want to get to the bottom.
It's a lot of pictures. I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and skip forward a bit because there's one final picture that I know Cameron wanted to talk about.
Yeah, because you just want to talk about, like, punching you in the gut, right? Almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there. Almost there, almost there. Nope, not the one.
That's a good picture.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Great picture.
The best picture.
The best.
There, that's it. That's it. This right here. This is the Queen sitting alone at her husband's funeral. She and her husband were married for more than 70 years. That is just holy shit all by itself, right? She's at her husband's funeral, sitting alone, wearing a mask. I mean, who among us has that level of emotional control? Because that's depressing. But that was that woman, and I think she rightly deserves to be celebrated. And some of the nasty bite back stuff, and I don't mean the internet being the internet and making jokes that are inappropriate. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the wokes didn't even let her blood run cold before they had just the most awful takes.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to add?
Yes. Something interesting about the passing of a monarch. At least for the Brits, her funeral has been being planned for
like
60
1965,
years.
Yeah.
In what's called Operation London Bridge, and there are several pieces to Operation London Bridge, which, I mean, it basically a military operation. There's Operation London Bridge, and then the subparts of it, Operation Springtide, Operation Unicorn, et cetera, et cetera. And it is a joint venture between most branches of the government. And, I mean, they're going to shut down the British Stock Exchange and the banks for a week. That it does make sense because, I mean, since the day she was coronated, it could have been any day. An accident, sickness, an assassination. Right. It could have happened at any given time. So it's not just some pomp and circumstance, frilly fluff that has them conducting that planning operation. But imagine,
you're talking about the continuity of a nation.
Right. Imagine your job for 60 years, whole careers went in and out of this planning.
Yes.
And that itself is noteworthy and interesting. I don't know what else to do with that information, but I think it's fascinating. It's one of those kind of trivia things to know about.
Alex says, and Alex was born in England, so I think his opinion counts a little extra. And he says, I'm not going to criticize anyone for what they say about the Queen's passing. I feel the way I feel because she was my queen and I was her subject. And I'm not saying anything that I'm saying, Alex, to be a simp in any way, though. I mean, I'm honestly sorry for your loss, brother. I watched you last night, and that was a pretty intense episode. But I'm saying what I am saying because I just believe it to be true that objectively you can point to Queen Elizabeth and you can say you could have made her queen of the entire world. I think she proved to have that level of decorum and understanding and like, I mean, again, like I would be Robert Baratheon if you made me king, whatever. I'm saying that the criticisms of her are ill-founded. She basically did the right thing more often than not, and she honestly wasn't obligated to if we use history as a judge.
Right.
Theoretically, the king and queen are supposed to do the right thing, but in practice, very rarely do they. So I think it's just worth noting, like, whenever the wokes go after somebody. In fact, you want to make me a fan of somebody, wokey wokes, go after them, right? I might not know who or what a thing is, but then you go after it. Like, you know, one of the things that made Gina Carano so popular is you guys hated her so damn much. Like, I already thought she was fine AF, to be fair, but I liked her even more. So, oh, all the right people hate you? Gosh.
Yeah, that does help. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap that up.
Yeah, actually do some Firearms Friday.
And do some DGUs. And hey, since I have cleared my schedule until after this lunch, we can hang out for a minute. So, do you mind hanging out and pushing a little further down the road? Let's do this. Okay.
Let's just get
start.
something done.
I want to start with this video that Fee sent me, that the wife sent me. There's comedy to be had here, and
there's obviously...
Bear with me half a sec. I'm gonna try to...
Okay, I see what this is. There's obviously drugs to be had here as well, just based on this
and
opening
I'm gonna
image.
try to disable the... Where the hell is the camera here?
Well, while you do that, I'm going to respond once more to Alex. He's saying that he understands that it's not me, it's the woke crowd. They can have their opinion. They simply don't understand. I'm honestly coming to the point, I'm tired of showing Christian love to the woke crowd. They mock and humiliate us and treat us like bugs on the windshield. And frankly, I think it's about time we do the same to them. And if you're honestly fucking stupid enough to not understand that Queen Elizabeth was the opposite of all the things that you hate, that she was, in fact, a true progressive in the sense of the word, I have nothing but contempt for you.
Whole nother conversation.
Well,
so let's take a look at this one. This DGU comes to us as from somebody's I was about to say Ring camera, but clearly this camera is mounted up and above the door.
It'll still be part of their Ring system.
It may be.
Here we go.
So,
it's a me, Mario. Let's go.
So this guy doesn't have. He's got a bicycle with no tires on it.
Well, yeah, because he spent the tire money on meth.
Apparently,
obviously. This is
careful
why
censoring. What? Oh, there's audio to be had here.
You know what? This is why we don't hear about.
You got 5 seconds. Safety's coming off. You've got 5 seconds. You've got 3 seconds. Leave now. Now. He fucking opened the door. He came up here and opened the door.
And to be clear, I mean, you all saw it. He didn't just open the door.
Hey! I got 3 more minutes. Nah, I'll come back tomorrow. I said we're closed, bozo.
Oh, I see what's happening. The next reel is trying to play. No. But yeah, he didn't just open the door. He opened the door and walked in. He walked into the house. I mean, he didn't get very far.
I love everything about you got 5 seconds. Yeah, it's just that now you have 3 seconds. Okay. Like,
yeah.
That's why you don't hear about so many incidents of defensive gun use.
The only reason we know that happened is because there was video that got out on the internet. Otherwise, that statistic wouldn't even be a part of the math, because the homeowner probably didn't bother reporting it to the police.
Right. So that I mean, and that's really what it is. Like, the potential victim is armed, and they're not a victim, and there are no shots fired. And so it's like, meh. So, yeah.
Okay, and, so let's move on to the next one.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. And I love that, by a funny trick of the internet, This is the image we get with this headline. You want to read that headline, Cameron?
First victims of Memphis shooting spree that killed 4 identified. A killing spree in Memphis that left 4 people dead and 3 wounded began with the fatal shooting of a man whom gunman Ezekiel Kelly had been talking with in front of mutual friends, police say. The 19-year-old gunman's rampage started around 1 a.m. Wednesday and ended at 9:30 p.m. that night when Kelly was arrested after leading cops on a chase from Mississippi to Memphis. Kelly live-streamed a portion of the bloody spree on Facebook, according to cops.
And of course, this particular bloody spree, this is just more evidence that white supremacy is the greatest threat to our national security at present.
Most victims have not been officially named yet, but family members identified on social media 17-year-old Corteria Wright as one of the fatalities and Rodolfo Berger as one of the wounded. The carnage began at a private home on Lundale Avenue where they discovered the body of 24-year-old Dwayne Tunstall. Station Wareg reported. Police said Kelly and Tunstall were hanging out with a group of mutual friends when Kelly pulled Tunstall aside to talk to him. During the conversation, Kelly allegedly shot Tunstall in the head several times in front of 5 other people who were unharmed. It's unclear what prompted the shooting. Then, around 4:38 p.m., Kelly, who has a violent criminal past, allegedly fatally shot a man who, I think, was sitting in his car on South Parkway East.
Who knows? It could be is sitting. They may have just left the body there.
That's... Ooh, dark humor is like food.
I get it.
Okay, and I think that's enough. Okay, so when you go on a shooting spree and you kill a bunch of basically innocent people at random, like you're a giant piece of shit. And I don't really care if you do it for racist reasons. I don't care if you do it because you're psychotic. I don't care if you do it because your wife left you and took the kids and you're never going to see them again. I don't care. The problem is the media wants me to care. Alex and Danny also covered this on the TPS report last night, and you know they made sure to point out that this is not terribly dissimilar from the Buffalo shooting that happened, but because the racial identity and political motivations of the Buffalo shooter are different than this piece of shit, it's going to get covered differently and is likely to be charged differently.
Yes.
And look, I am somebody who's actually changed his mind over time on the death penalty. I think it's time to do away with it, but
yeah, we're going to continue to disagree with that on that.
Then motherfuckers like this come along and pull some shit like this, and it's like, yep, okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the death penalty needs to stick around just a little bit longer.
I mean, the death penalty definitely needs some reform. For example, an express lane.
We can't have that debate. Maybe one day we should find a way to have that debate, okay? But we can't do it now when we're pushing other stuff.
You were correct. So, this next one comes to us, this is from the 4th, so it's Sunday, and comes to us from Kaiser, Oregon. Homeowner shoots, kills home invader early Sunday morning, Kaiser police say. I got a good feeling about this one, my man. Got a good feeling.
Right.
A homeowner in Kaiser, Oregon shot and killed someone after waking up early Sunday morning to find a home invader in his residence, police said. Okay, and they put home invader in quotes. Are you in the house uninvited?
Bonus points if there's literal breaking and entering. Home invader. Okay, an Oregon homeowner shot exactly. And killed.
but you know what I can say for this homeowner?
Okay, we don't know it was a DRT. We got to finish reading the. Gotta finish reading the
I'm
article.
pretty confident. Kaiser officers responded at about 2:20 a.m. to reports of someone with a gunshot wound at a home on Mayfield Place North. The homeowner told police he woke to someone inside his house. He then fired a shot at the person who was pronounced dead.
And one and done? That's either some serious caliber, some serious shooting, or God said...
Pure luck.
Or, well, I was going to say, or God said, I've given you 17 chances, my son.
Police said they're continuing the investigation, and the Marion County District Attorney's Office is also handling the case. All right. I mean, not much story there, but it's a good story.
I mean, apart from the homeowner, or no, home invader.
Right. Here we go. You're going to get this one from Oklahoma City from Tuesday.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm confused now. The last one said Sunday, September the 5th. This says Tuesday, September the 6th.
Look, man, they get paid more money than you and I make to write this badly. Like it's depressing. Okay. Oklahoma City police responded to the scene of a burglary on Tuesday. Are we sure it wasn't a burglary? Police say a man and a woman were inside their apartment on Cherry Hill Lane in Oklahoma City when they heard someone trying to remove the AC unit from their window. That's worth shooting a motherfucker.
Yep.
When the pair went to look, they saw a black male coming in through their apartment, Black male was coming into their apartment. The man inside the apartment told police that he'd shot the intruder in the chin.
Wow.
Jesus.
Not the one you want.
Woo! So even if he survived, he had a bad day.
Bad day.
But Your Honor, I've already done my debt. I swear I'll never do it again. God, can't even drink through a straw. According to the police report, the intruder allegedly used to be in a romantic relationship with a woman who lived in the apartment. Ooh. After being shot, the suspect fled from the... After being shot in the chin, the suspect fled from the scene and drove to his home in Del City off of Delmar Drive and Bryan Lane, where someone living in his home called 911 and had him taken to the hospital for his injuries. Del City police responded to the home on Delmar Drive where the suspect's truck was examined by CSI before eventually being towed away. The condition of the suspect is unknown at this. I know his condition. He's fucked up.
It's not good. It's not good, Mr. Bad Guy. It's not good.
You're about to have all your teeth replaced. Police say they are awaiting the district attorney's office to review the case and determine charges against the subject. You know, it's interesting that we could compare these two stories back to back, unless there is reason to believe that the homeowner, the home invader thing was in quotes, because there's a giant piece to the story we don't know about. This is basically the same story. You have somebody, violating your domicile, okay, and then you defend said domicile with potentially lethal force. Yep. Except in this one,
by any means necessary.
But yeah, exactly. So, dude, I think shooting somebody in the chin is about as like if this guy survives this, it's not a go back to the range problem.
Where'd you get that scar? We see I had a girlfriend a long time ago.
I missed her so much.
It was eyes.
Yeah, it was. It was
He's
definitely
gonna sound like Sly Stallone in a couple of months. If he's very lucky.
If. So they send this in and say, oh, well, the district attorney's going to review it, which, frankly, they probably should.
Yep.
Okay. But the way both stories are written, one is obviously a felony burglary.
Right.
Which was being defended against. And the other one, dude, like, honestly, on the rare occasion that I get here in the morning for the show and you haven't woken up from that nap that you sometimes do from like 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning, God, I'm terrified. I'm like, like, don't wake me up out of slumber and panic me. Don't do that. Like, and David Seaver, oh, where's his future cellmate going to rest his balls?
Oh.
In the Gap.
It's like a cup holder.
It's like dating a midget with a flat head. You could rest your beer right on top of it.
Oh. What do you say? One more, then we'll wrap her up.
Uno mas.
Uno mas. Okay. Oh, another one from Oklahoma. Wait a minute. This might be the same
Do not
story
give that
from
shady
another.
website your
Password. I just got fished.
Not the same story.
No, not the same one. Just
happened.
guys, don't do burglary in Texas and Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's been busy this week. Oklahoma man shoots and kills burglary suspect who entered his condo. The alleged burglar was found dead from a gunshot wound at the bottom of a staircase in the apartment in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Hashtag DRT.
Whoops. Yeah, we already know. He didn't make it to the hospital. An Oklahoma man shot and killed a suspected burglar who broke into his Tulsa home in the early hours of Sunday morning, according to local reports. Homeowner told police that he opened fire as a man was entering his home at Brandy Chase condominiums around 2 o'clock in the morning. Nothing good ever happens after 2 o'clock. Go to bed.
Right? Go home. Go to bed. Sleep it off.
You're still working on your dissertation? And that's important and everything. You're too tired. Go to bed. Oh, you've been drinking all night and you just want to go to the Waffle Hut? No. Go to bed. The alleged burglar was found dead by the police at the bottom of a staircase with a gunshot wound. Gunshot wound. Another one and done. Get it, son. Apparently, they're doing range time and okay. The attempted burglary and shooting happened about 7 miles south of downtown Tulsa. Another suspect may have been involved but fled the scene. Anyone with information about the incident can call Tulsa Crime Stoppers at 918-596-COPS.
Gee. I wonder who you get on the other end of that number.
So, there you go.
I might have to disagree with one thing, man. Sometimes when you've had a smidge too much to drink, then get you some of that Waffle House action going on.
I like me some Waffle House, don't get it twisted. And I have spent some time in a Waffle House after 2 o'clock in the morning. Indeed, I have. In fact, for several, like 10 years there running, I was at the Waffle House. Every time the time changed. Sergeant Major says that the stairs did the damage. Yeah. Stand at the top of a steel fire escape. He just needed a little 9mm shove.
Shot him in the leg, and then he just tumbled over.
Right.
Like some cartoon character. Thunk, bonk, thunk, bonk.
So, all right. Well, that's all I've got for today. You got anything else?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to do the safety brief.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. All
You're
right.
gonna tell me I'm not allowed to live my best life.
Yeah. Don't live your best life. Right? Because getting out there and attempting to live your best life, guys, we're going into the weekend. All that live your best life crap, watch it. Be careful. Because sometimes living your best life includes your parachute not opening. It was going to be a great day, and now you're going home in a secrets box. Okay? Safety, safety, safety. And when you're on the job, we've talked about this, it's mission first, after coffee. So safety's like third or fourth. It's down there. Right? And I guarantee you that this weekend includes 9/11. There are going to be memorial services. I don't have a high expectation that there's going to be some kind of terrorist attack because of the 9/11 thing. Largely because it's been a hot minute. We would see terrorist attacks commemorating the 9/11 psychotherapy for the first like 10 years after it happened, but it's been a minute. You know, nobody's burning
ambassadors.
Well, I was gonna say the V for Vendetta guy. It's Guy. Anyway, nobody's remembering the 4th of November quite the way they once did. 9/11 similarly is beginning to fade into intellectual obscurity for the younger generations. Because remember, your high school seniors today weren't born then.
Yep.
But there will be festivities. I'm sure there will be memorial services. That means large gatherings, large crowds. Go thee healed. And keep your head on a swivel. Yeah, Danny, keep your head on a swivel. Absolutely. And David suggests that you eat bacon naked at Waffle House after an all-nighter.
I'm on David's side.
I agree. There's humor in that sentiment. But I have seen some Waffle House cooks go to work with an egg pan, and you don't want none of that.
But you could, well, look, man, we live in a day and age where, like, you could have it DoorDash. Or you could just eat it in your car.
That's not Waffle House. That's a whole different level of
Listen,
bad choices.
ever since you couldn't walk into Waffle House and immediately get secondhand smoke to go with your coffee, it stopped being Waffle House.
You know, I hate to say it, but I actually agree with you. That's a whole thing. I was furious when Georgia went to a non-smoking state. Honestly, I don't miss being able to smoke in restaurants and bars except for Waffle House. And
you can still smoke in bars now.
Some, yeah. And after Georgia went full non-smoking, I lived in Texas for a while, and you did have smoking sections in restaurants, and I enjoyed having a cigarette, like, while I'm waiting for my food and hanging out after the food and smoking a cigarette, chit-chatting with the guys. But honestly, the places were nasty. Just a thing. But anyway, y'all be safe out there. Don't drive, drink, don't fry bacon naked, and we will see you on Monday.